scorcher today. All right, what do we got today? We got a bunch of parts that just came in. So we're gonna do an unboxing video. Greddy Intake Manifold S13 SR20. Let's go. Why am I doing this on the ground? God, I already cursed. You think we can do it over there? Let's do it over there. After you, Dave. Alright. So, like I said, this is the Greddy Intake Manifold for S13 SR20. One of the most controversial parts of the SR20 engine because everyone always says it kills the low end torque, and they're right. Yeah. So why are they right about that? Let's take a look at it. So first thing is we have hoses, brackets, bolts, hose clamps, instructions, which are all in Japanese, so you know, don't think it's going to help you much unless you're Japanese. And then this is the only other thing in there. Alright. Let's do this. Wow, that is nice. You can tell this isn't a knockoff because there's no holes in the casting. There are so many knockoffs of this part. This is going on a customer car we have here. The customer has, I think, a GT30 or a GT35 turbo. So he's like right on maybe the verge of where this would be a benefit to his setup. So basically the reason why this isn't good for cars with smaller turbochargers is because of these short runners right here. These intake runners are very short. So what that does is it changes the power band, and I believe it changes the volumetric efficiency of the engine. So these short runners are going to cause the engine to flow better at higher RPMs, pretty much. So the low end torque is gonna get hit, and then the high end is gonna be increased, but it's only gonna be increased if you have a very high or efficient turbo setup, with that's larger than other ones. Like if you have this on a T28 setup, there's literally no purpose. I don't even know if you're gonna gain any horsepower on the dyno. But with his setup, it's right at the verge. Basically, the number you always see is 500 horsepower. So if you think you're going to shoot for over 500 horsepower, then you could do this. I mean, the main reason everyone wants this manifold is to clean up the engine bay. I want one too. I want to put one on my car, and I still don't think I'm going to do it just because of the benefits don't outweigh the negatives. So let's open this up, see what they give us here. It is a really nice looking manifold, and S13 SR20s, the manifolds look horrible, so.
That makes the oil changes easier. Tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah, it does. It allows you to have a lot of space underneath, well, on that whole side of the engine. So it makes everything easier. It looks better, it makes it easier, but it's not good. In most situations, it's not a benefit. And then the replica one, I don't know. I wouldn't even waste your time. Because one, if you're buying the replica one, you probably don't even have the right size turbo anyway. So you're going to kill power, and you're going to buy a shitty piece. If you're in the market for this manifold, you should buy the Greddy one. It is a lot of money. I believe now they are 825, 850. So it's a lot of money, but again, you don't need this unless you have a big turbo setup. So we got nuts and bolts, we got plugs for the ports underneath. This is another nice feature because you can add ports as you need them and close them off when you don't. Idle air control valve can still get used, even though we rarely see people use those with these manifolds. I'm excited to use this because we get to see how it should be installed. I rarely see these installed correctly. Probably gonna have to make our own throttle cable bracket, I believe, but we'll see. These are the ports you can add. There is a bracket to support the manifold when it's mounted. And of course, there's a Greddy badge that you can mount here. So that's cool. So people know you actually bought the real one and not a $150 one from eBay. And just to confirm, the instructions are all in Japanese. But they got pictures. They got black and white photographs here too. So this is a very thorough instruction booklet. But anyway, yeah, over 500 horsepower, sure, why not? Under 500 horsepower, you should think twice about doing this, because unless you don't mind losing low-end torque. If it's a drag car or something, maybe, I don't know, a highway car maybe. Even for drifting, it's debatable, because you're usually very high in the RPMs when you're drifting, but there are times when you can get into a turn and in a situation where the RPMs are going to drop, and in those situations, this is not going to be a beneficial item to have. But it sure does look nice. That's it. See you next time.